All right. Welcome to the downside.
Wow.
How are you doing?
It feels like, so it feels like you've had 18 co-hosts outside of me. I'm wondering if listeners are like, we like any of those like, do you know what I mean?
Well, that was our first segment. Who
was better than I did get it felt like it's been so long, and then I think I just came back. I did one and then I was gone again. Is that right?
Yes, we had two without you, and we had Ian Fidance.
Yes,
and Ian definitely
funny.
felt co-host. Jordan Jensen, it kind of felt like a double guest episode, which is not bad either.
No,
but then you came for one, which we released today. We're recording this a little early. It's September 10th, 2001, and then I was in LA. I did one with Guy Branum.
Oh, he's funny.
That'll be the one released before this one, and it was a very good episode. My mom was in the other room.
I thought you were going to say the audience. I thought it's just like her watching you and him talk.
She, because it's the studio, it's on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I always think, oh, it's in Santa Monica. And then I put into the map, and it's fucking an hour away from Santa Monica. So my mom was there, and she said that she listens to the podcast.
Does she?
Let me say something, and my mom might not like that I bring this up, but it happened. So I was in Vegas. My mom was there, and then Tova came the night that my mom was leaving Vegas. Yeah. Just coincidentally. And it happened to be that Tova was getting to the hotel as my mom was leaving. And Tova's coming from like a long, late flight, and she's dressed, sweats and whatever. And my mom says, like, first thing my mom says, like, oh, you're in your boyfriend outfit. And I didn't know quite what was going on.
What does that mean?
Could just, she clarified. But the moment she said it, I was like, what's happening? What's happening? The first thing should be hi.
Have they met before?
Yes.
Okay.
But then she
But what does that mean?
Well, I think Tova said that, or I said that, and she was like, well, when I go out with the gals, I dress up and like kind of gussy up, but when you're with your boyfriend, you just kind of wear sweats. And I'm just like, oh my God, are you fucking serious? There's just
I thought it. Can I tell you what I thought it meant? I thought it meant like easy to like get off. Like like your sweatpants, there's no like buttons. You're just like,
she's like,
whoop, whoop,
they got some crotchless panties under there, or no panties at all.
That's what I interpreted. I had a much nicer interpretation.
It was just, and I don't think in theory my mom meant ill by it.
No, but it
was
like
just
a weird
like
thing.
It was just a weird, and to be frankly sexist, just a woman to a woman thing where I was like, what did you just say?
Well, isn't it probably it's ingrained misogyny? Probably.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm not the sexist one. I'm calling it out.
No,
that's what's
I'm
happening.
just saying, like, there is a weird thing. I think sometimes I don't want to say older generations, but there is a weird thing where it's interesting how often people feel the need to as parents to like comment on how someone's looking or dressing, or it's just a very weird thing where you're like, hey, who cares? You know what I mean? Unless it's like, oh my God, like, look at this,
I'll never forget. I think I brought it up once where my dad, by the way, we're waiting for our guest right now, guys, so don't worry. The guest is coming soon, Kristofer Thomas. But I was in Philly. My dad surprised me on my birthday. His secretary called and said, just so you know, your dad's taking a train up to see you for your birthday. And I can't think of a thing worse. For like my birthday, I was in Philly at an acting company, surprising me on my birthday.
That's lovely. I mean, I think that's a wonderful thing. But I'll allow you to be mean and cruel and hurtful to your only father right now. Keep going.
And we go to it's my birthday, so I went to my favorite cheesesteak place. It was me, my girlfriend at the time, and my father, and I was wearing, this was a time where I was just wearing basketball shorts and wife beaters. That's what I wore. Mm-hmm. And my dad, like after the meal, was like, well, put on a little weight there, son. And I lost.
Did he actually grab your stomach like that?
I think kind of like a little jiggle.
Oh.
And as I joke about, we're touchy feely people, but like, there was a little wiggle, so you could really feel it. Yeah. And My dad has always, like, if he's feeling insecure about his weight, he's one of those, like, classic where you're like, do you not see that you're projecting? But this at a time where I was putting on more weight. I was eating a lot of Philly cheesesteaks. I was like, I'm going to eat every Philly cheesesteak in Philadelphia. Like, he wasn't wrong. That's what made it worse. But I lost my mind because I didn't want to see him for my birthday. It was supposed to be like my special day. And for him to come up and after like my birthday lunch be like, hey, fatty. Yeah. Like.
After you ate. Well, I mean, it's better that before because then you wouldn't have enjoyed it. You know, you wouldn't have ordered anything what you wanted.
I lost my goddamn.
Did you yell? Did you create a scene?
I created a scene. I think I said like.
You say, look at you. You're fat too.
Man, I used to I was more like, that's not where I go. I was like, I said something like, I want to lie down in the street and have a car run over me. I get like, I'm gonna hurt myself. That's where I go. That's like when you really piss me off. Yeah, I'm gonna hurt me.
Oh, okay, interesting. That's not where I go. I get real mean about the other person.
Sure, you have good lines. The meanest thing I ever said to my father...
But I don't say it out loud. I think it in my head.
I said something really cool to my father once. The meanest thing I've ever said. That's good. But you have to get me with some... You have to tell me something really good because this is really horrible what I'm going to say.
Oh, my God.
When my dad... It was like shortly after the breakup when I was 21. And it was, a traumatic breakup for me at the time. And we got in a fight like 6 months later or something. And my dad was saying, you're selfish. You're so selfish. That's why Leah left you. And it was like, coming from my father, I don't know. It was just one of the, he wasn't saying it because he believed it. He was saying it because he knew at that time in my life, that was like the meanest thing you could say. And I'm pretty sure I left a voicemail that said something along the lines of, your mom who had died would be ashamed of the person you are or something like that. Oh, wow. Like something about like her in her grave being ashamed of him. Like it was my version of like, all right, here's the worst thing I can think to say. Yeah. And I don't even know if he ever listened to that voicemail. Yeah. Like it was just a
Oh, you never even talked about it. He didn't respond to that.
No. I have a feeling like he plays in that arena of saying the worst things ever. So I don't think he necessarily took it as like brutally as I meant it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
What's the meanest thing you've ever said? I mean, you ever get in a big fight with your dad or a big fight with your mom?
No, not like that.
That blows me away.
Not in like, I mean, when I was a kid, I can't think of any meaningful things like that. Like, I can think of things that they have said that hurt my feelings. Like, that I know that they didn't mean to do it in that way.
What'd they say?
Like, I remember one time I was it was like, it might have been, I don't know when this was, but it was like, I had some callback for I think it was might have been for Book of Mormon, but it was like, I already had booked, I was doing a show out in the Midwest and I had to I auditioned here, had a first callback for Book of Mormon, and then they were like, "Oh, we want you to come back in again next week." And I was supposed to start the contract so I was like, "Fuck me!" So I had to get permission to miss the rehearsals, but I was like, "I gotta go." It's Book of Mormon. Of course. It's a second callback. And I just remember, I had already had to do that 3 months prior for the Addams Family national tour.
Sure.
So I had already been out in the Midwest doing a show and had to fly back for one day for a final callback for producers for the book for Addams Family. So it was I was doing this twice now. Yeah. And the flights were insane because they're last minute flights. And so I was very poor at the time. And I was able to do the first one and pay for it, but I had to ask my parents for help.
Sure.
And they were just they said yes, but it was this is a waste of money. Basically being you're never going to get the Book of Mormon. Do you know what I mean?
Is that what they really?
They didn't say you're not going to get it, but they said it this is a waste of money. And it was that communicated. In my mind, I'm they're there's no way. And fair. I did not get Book of Mormon.
I was waiting. I was about to make, I was planning my joke.
Did it get it? It was for the Chicago production. Fucking got it. Ben Platt. So it was never going to go to like a regular person, anyways.
Ben Platt?
Yeah.
Which one is this? Is this the role?
Yeah, exactly. Not a fat person at all. He played
I was going to say the Josh Gad role, not the fat role, but
he played
yes.
the Josh Gad part in Chicago, in the Chicago production. So anyways, so it was like
that's infuriating.
But it hurt my. It was like a thing where I was like, I have to go. I was like, even if I don't get it, like it's a big casting. It's like
It's funny. Like Ben Platt getting that role is like. It's like Hugh Jackman to the Music Man, where the Music Man's like Ben Platt to that role is like the hot. Like, oh, you're going to cast the sexy weirdo for that role?
Yeah.
That's
so, and
that's
it wasn't Ben
tough.
Platt at the time. You know what I mean? In my mind, but I remember it through the years. When someone gets a thing, not that I was ever even close to it. It was truly like they saw me at an initial thing, they had me come back, and then they were doing another one. I'm sure there was like still like 50 guys in the thing.
I will never forget. This is like where where I was a reader for a lot of casting directors, which for those people at home, if you don't know, you read the other lines in the scene so they can audition people. And so many times they're auditioning for these roles while there's an offer out to a star.
Yeah.
And which I think, to me, that's like completely something a union should say, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
Because this woman came in and like she delivered this astounding acting performance, sobbing.
Yeah.
And then like she left, and then the cast director's phone rang, and Billy Porter said he can do it. He gets the role or whatever. And I just remember just like being stunned. I just seemed like it was a woman in like her late 40s or whatever, and I would just imagine needs this role.
Yeah.
So she can feed her children at home.
Billy
Porter.
Oh man, brutal. But yeah, so but not fights like where you're like really being like saying, it's not some of my family does not. And I'm thankful for it.
It's incredible. I honestly think that my dad does not yell. I don't know, old age, like I think he probably still yells, but maybe I shut it down, or he got older, testosterone low, or whatever. But I do feel like a dynamic of our relationship disappeared when we stopped fighting. I feel like it was one of the few ways that we could honestly communicate with each other.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's a little surreal. It's a little surreal to think like my dad and I have not had like a screaming match in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on this bit on stage where every fight with my dad, he'd yell, I'd yell louder, he'd yell loudest. Mm-hmm. And then I'd cry. And it was like an abusive relationship without the sex that makes it worth it. And people who are fucked up like that joke. But then we'd have a hug. I'd always cry, and then we'd have like, it truly was this formula. I'd cry, and then like I'd leave the room, and then he'd come and be like, I'm sorry, but it's your fault. And then we'd hug. And it would be like very emotional. Like it would be very loving.
Though.
Yeah.
You got like some affection
and then you
from
cried,
him
and then you cried with your parent. And I think it can be fucked up, man.
Yeah.
So our guest is coming soon, but it is good to see you. We have so much to catch up on. We have to do a bonus episode. We just got this feature in Podcast Magazine.
Yeah.
I just burped. That's how cocky. I'm in Podcast Magazine now, so get ready for burps on the mic. Someone immediately messaged me like, congrats, but also how stupid is it for there to be a magazine about podcasts? And I was like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Can I enjoy anything for 2 seconds? Vegas was a hellscape. I have so much to tell you. I ended up talking to Guy Branum about this David Copperfield show where he like talks about his dead dad, and it was just hilarious because he reads a letter from his dead dad to himself that clearly he wrote.
Yeah,
and that first he reads it all monotone. He's phoning it in like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
and it was like, David, I know you didn't visit me for the last years of my life, but seeing you on tour made me feel like you were living my dreams too. So I just want you to know I'm so proud of you, son.
It's so weird.
It was surreal because like
you wrote that.
Yeah. Tova pointed out you wrote that.
Well,
and like
that's just like on the Kardashians, where I think for a present, Kanye got Kim a hologram of her dead dad.
Yes.
Being like, I'm so proud of you. You following in my, and she like, everyone's crying, and she's like, it was just so great to hear. And it's a metaphor. Like, no, it's not a metaphor. It's like literally your husband just like wrote those things that you would like to hear, and it doesn't mean anything. Your dad is not thinking that. Do you know what I mean? Like, your dad is nowhere, anywhere
You're
in
the
the
guy,
void.
just so you know, he doesn't exist anymore.
He doesn't exist. No, and if he does, he's probably something else. He's probably a new life of some kind. But like, you know, like there's this thing where
you know what's so funny? Now that their divorce is so bad, like people say Kanye has like lost his mind, but like the really cruel thing Kanye would do would be to bring that hologram back and be like,
oh my God,
I hate you so much.
I'm just really
give up custody.
3 marriages and not one has worked out. Oh my God.
Kanye's gonna have the hologram testify at the custody
like
hearing.
rolling around in his grave, but as visually. Oh my God.
That would be.
We have the technology. He could do it if he wanted to.
Obviously, these holograms are not enjoyable, or they'd be a thing now.
I don't like it.
There's a certain degree. Sometimes, like with technology, I remember when Google Glass came out. I feel like that was a lesson.
What does that even mean?
That was the glasses that like you could see in front of you.
Okay, yeah.
And part of it was like, in theory, it was like, oh wow, cool. You can have a screen in front of you. But clearly it wasn't good because it didn't catch on. It's the same with holograms. It's the same with all this like Oculus shit and this like virtual reality stuff. Like, to a degree, I'm like, if it was amazing, we'd all be wearing them right now. Yeah. Clearly something about this experience is not quite enjoyable yet. Yeah. Or it's not fun. Yeah. I hope it all fails.
Yeah, it's the hologram thing. I just don't like when you're putting words in. I actually don't care if it's just like a visual thing, but I don't like when they're putting words into like dead people's, like, you know,
they're gonna have to start. I feel like Robin Williams like specifically had like contract things that were like, you cannot
don't use my likeness.
Don't use my likeness.
That's smart.
But then but they're going to have computers soon now where they can recreate you saying whatever.
Oh my God. Did you see that there was a rapper that was killed that they put his embalmed body up on stage like for a
and like, sorry. Was it? No, it's hilarious.
Sorry, I don't know why I know this or saw it. I don't know where I saw it, but I think he
XXL Magazine, if you're a subscriber too.
He was tragically killed. He was shot, and young person, and like they were like, oh, we're gonna. I don't think people knew when they were going to this concert that he was gonna be there. So it was like his final concert, his final thing. People being like, basically, let's celebrate his life.
Sure.
And then they got there, and he was on the stage, and I think a lot of people were like, oh, they made like a wax thing, not realizing that it was actually him embalmed on the stage, like propped up. Like, just like
they thought it was a wax
he was
thing.
not laying down, he was propped up, like standing.
And not looking like it wasn't like great, like it looked weird.
I didn't look. It was the fine line of like, I wanted to read the story, I was intrigued, but I did not want to look at the images or videos.
I wonder just how they brought him on stage, because just imagine if like your funeral and I'm like, guys, we have a very special guest, Russell Daniels.
You're doing a fat bit. You're like, how did they bring him on set? Were you being like, how?
No. I was not doing a fat bit at all.
Oh, well, you were saying, how did they? No, he was just there.
No. I mean, how did they introduce him on stage?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, if I was at your funeral and I was like, guys, really special speaker today, you're not gonna believe it. It's Russell still.
No, I know.
And it was just you. And then I had a voice. That was not a fat joke at all. I
no. Oh no. I think you were. I thought you were. I know. But
also, how would we lift you onto the fucking stage?
No. I don't know. I wonder. You know, I think his mom was in on it. Like, I think she was part of the planning committee. So,
man.
Anyways, I don't have any more information on that.
So, but then also the one thing I didn't bring up at the Guy podcast was David Copperfield, he's doing it so monotone, but he had someone there who was like, here we have a special guest, Steven from the Philippines. Steven's sister died in a car accident in 2010, and he swore he would complete her bucket list, which included doing an illusion with me, David Copperfield. Come on up here, Steven. And it was a real person whose sister had died, and David Copperfield just like doesn't give a shit about this, going through the motions, and made Steven disappear.
Did Steven come back?
No, he joined his sister.
Oh.
No, he came back. But I thought if my sister ever dies, I got to go back to the show, because that would be very cool.
Yeah.
To be part of an illusion.
Yeah.
Magic is weird there. It's just like everything feels really like that rapper, like dead, like just like stiff. Just stiff and dead. And
well, how long has David Copperfield been doing a thing there?
I mean, I think this is a newish show. We also Kristofer's almost here.
Okay.
But we're gonna have a nice 10-minute interview with Kristofer.
Yeah, I really got to leave at like 7. So.
But so Tova and I were in this cab, and this cab driver was talking, but it was actually nice because he was a New Yorker. He he recognized us as New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Because that's how we walk into cabs. We go, we're New Yorkers, so don't talk to us. Oh my God! Do you see Tova? Did she put it on her Instagram?
Tova
got a message.
Messaged her. It made me laugh.
Tova got a message
hard
from her Uber driver while she's in the Uber, and I guess Tova was on a phone call, and it said, "You are yelling.
Oh, it said
you are screaming.
You
are screaming."
Oh my God! I laughed so hard when I saw that. You are screaming
because I can think of Tova. She must have been laughing too. Like that's when Tova's the loudest. Her laugh is like, "Ha ha!" And I feel like the idea of saying that to someone who's about to give you a rating.
Also,
you have to really feel like
didn't say it. He messaged it, like he texted it, which is even funnier. Do you know what I mean? Like that's like even funnier that being like he didn't interrupt her to be like, hey, this is hurting my ears. He was like, he passive aggressively sent her a message. It's crazy.
You are screaming.
You are screaming.
So Russell, here's a new part of the podcast. This is called I Have to Go Let the Guest In. And so you're gonna Bill Burr style. You're gonna talk to them about something.
I hate
and
this.
Here's some advice. Think about something you want to talk. Think of a topic. I don't want any stuttering. I don't want any like what else? This is your
wait.
I have to go to the door, so we don't have time for much of a pep talk. Start talking. Talk to the audience. You know the audience.
Oh my God, this is so stressful to me. Hi guys, it's Russell here. Gianmarco, are you okay? Gianmarco just tripped on the microphone wire. Our guest is coming in. This is not going to be good content. I'm distracted because I want to introduce myself, and I think what's best is if Gianmarco, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just sit here and I'm going to be quiet. And Gianmarco, I'm going to tell him he can just cut out the 20 seconds of silence that I was giving. Oh, he's back.
Kristofer is going to be here 1 second.
That was bad. I did not do a good job. I did not talk about anything, Gianmarco.
Why? You have so many opinions.
Because I was distracted. I was like, I don't want to be distant from the guests. I want to like introduce myself. And
let's look at our text exchange. Let me share some of your opinions and we can talk about them. We're about to have so we're in this cab and this guy he's a New Yorker and he talks about he used to own a pizza shop in New York and it's like a beautiful conversation, and then he moved to Vegas to start a pizza place. The place fell through. Now he's driving a cab, and then he was making some joke about like Tova and I should get married, or like are we married, and talking about relationships. We were like, oh, are you married? And he just goes, oh no, I lost my wife in 9/11. And I realized I could never love another person again. But, you know, time, you move on and you heal. And
oh, my God.
So pizza. And like it was one of these things where it was such a good, I don't mean to make this like about, you see sometimes people like when they're talking about emotional things like in entertainment or stuff, or like an actor, like a bad actor would be like, I lost my wife in 9/11. And it was like the way that he just said it, like this is part of his story and this is his life.
Yeah.
And it was so moving and so like just it like got Tova really bad.
Yeah.
Hi. So do you want a seltzer or anything?
Hi.
Sure. All right, Russell, take 2.
All right.
Solo podcast, go.
Come on. All right. I'm going to read something. I'm going to read from Gianmarco's text messages because Gianmarco, while I was gone, I feel pressure to talk to him because he gets really upset if I don't talk to him. Anyways, I was asking him how's it going, what's going on, and he's telling me a story via text about his day, and it's been kind of a rough day, and all the reasons why it's been rough. And then in it, he just slips in that he was kicked out of a Starbucks without going into any further detail of why he was kicked out of a Starbucks. And then he goes on to talking about something else. And
all right.
Yeah,
you were telling. All right, well, welcome, Kristofer.
Hi.
Thank you. There's your headphones. There's your mic.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh my God.
Well, this was the story I was gonna open with Kristofer. Feel free to weigh on this. I was just in Indianapolis.
Okay. Yes.
And I got kicked out of a Starbucks.
So
now
so he's yelled at me before for not texting him back. So he's texting me about the day he's at, blah blah blah, and and I'm like, oh, tell him about the day, and he's going through things, and in the middle of a long text, he throws in, and then I was pretty much kicked out of a Starbucks, and then goes on to like starts talking about other things, and I was like, wait, what? You were so you were
so explain.
Okay, it's I went in, I had stars. You know the star system. You can get a free...
Oh, in the app?
In the app.
Oh, I know the stars.
Yes. So I was getting my star drink, which is chai latte, 4 shots of espresso.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
And you milk it also, the stars. You gotta get a fancy... Yeah.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah. And I said to barista number 1, I said to her, can I use my stars? And I swear to God, she said yes. I get it. I go. As I walk a block away... I see on the app it recharged my wallet, which meant that I was charged. So I go, fuck. I walk back. I go, I'm sorry. I need to return this, I guess, because I would not spend $9. I wouldn't spend $9 on a drink. And she goes, the barista number 2 says, oh, we don't accept stars here. And I said, oh, when I ordered it, I said I want to use the stars. And barista number 1 goes, no, you didn't. And something in me very quickly. I went and I want to recreate it because we have to judge it based on how I did it.
I know you were way too much.
But I said, yes, I did. I swear to God, that's the volume I said. Yes, I did. And barista number 2 goes, oh, we will not have you yelling at our employees. This is Indianapolis. So I got to tell you, this felt like a moment of, I'm not in New York.
Yeah, you're not. I was going to say. Also, like, the second you said $9, I was like, I don't know what Richie, Starbucks people, like, nobody orders a $9 drink.
Of course.
No.
Yeah, of course.
No.
That is a I am milking the star system drink.
Yeah.
Like, there's no rational.
No, that's crazy.
You have to have a trust fund or the star thing. Yeah, 1,000%.
When someone, so I swear that's the volume I said it. And when someone says you're yelling and you're not yelling.
Yeah.
And I am a
okay,
yeller.
but was there
Don't get me
music
wrong.
on? Like,
No, there was no
how many
music
people
on.
were also at the Starbucks?
It was a full Starbucks.
And everyone was really quiet. Like, everyone was like...
and that seems atypical for a Starbucks.
No, I know, but in
Indianapolis.
you know?
And now I want to add on to this. I was wearing like I'm on the road. I'm wearing like sweatpants and like a sweatshirt. I'm looking not of this world, of this segment of America. I think I was looking like, I wouldn't say like I don't have a home, but like I was looking just like a schlub. Maybe if you're really uncomfortable with people, I don't know. That's just a detail. So
got it.
So she says, you're not going to yell at my employees. Let me return this. And then she takes my drink and she goes, well, if you're going to return it, you sure had a lot of it. And I'm like, and now I want to yell.
She's shaming you.
Yeah.
Because of course I did. There's nothing wrong with the drink. I was walking and I drank it.
Yeah.
So then the manager comes over and goes like, what's going on here? And I explained. And he goes, well, I'm not going to have you yelling at both my employees. I'm going to return this. We'll get you your money back. And then I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And so he does it. And I don't have enough time to think of a good thing to say. And I should have just left. But I said, treat your customers better, you fucking asshole. And then I left. And I didn't even yell that one either. And I know that's not good. But
it's not like you're going back there.
Gianmarco, there are people that were at that Starbucks that like are probably still talking about this.
Well, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened in Indianapolis.
I was gonna say, person came in,
kind of a gift.
Yeah,
that you gave them here. It's also very New York because like that was so wow. They caused they had issue with that.
Yeah,
I feel like refunds and like a loud volume. I used to work at a restaurant in college, and I worked like I'd go after class and I worked like evenings. So it was like everyone was wasted. I was like that would not even come close to approaching the radar of like you're yelling, sir. You know what I mean? Like wow.
But don't you think? Because here's my thought. You're on Twitter and you're very good at Twitter. I sometimes think about like how would this get framed on Twitter? And I like could see that barista writing a tweet about me and having to leave the internet.
She would write, and I'm so sorry to say this to you, a scathing threat, and she would frame it in a way 1,000%. Yeah.
What you definitely didn't say the star thing.
If you were writing that tweet and you were trying to destroy my life, how would you do it?
Okay, so first she'd have to invoke my rat brain is racing here. There's a union going on at the start. She'd be like, as a minimum wage worker,
yeah.
I am used to toiling and dealing with the abuse of countless cis she'd assume cis het white man.
Fuck.
Right. Oh no. I all the buzzwords, she'd hit him. She would slam him. And you would absolutely have to take a
demanding for a manager. I mean, you're like
demanding the manager.
Wait, you didn't demand for the manager?
The manager came over.
They just
Karen.
Yes,
Karen.
definitely Karen.
Sir Karen, that would get invoked.
Yeah.
I think that's
Sir
that's,
Karen.
Sir Karen. Oh wow,
that would get invoked. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is not the first time you've admitted to screaming at employees. Also,
It's
the
true.
Sweetgreen situation where you yelled at them about chicken.
I didn't yell. I disagreed with them.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing. Also, Sweetgreen, they deserve a few.
Thank you.
They've gone downhill.
I
Few
will have you know,
lashings.
I wrote the Starbucks app in my Instagram, and I got a $15 extra credit.
Wow.
So
Now you can buy.
thank you, Howard Schultz. I am anti-union now forever.
Thanks, Daddy Schultz. Well, Sweetgreen, their harvest salad, I actually had a moment. I'm going to call it a moment where I said to, and one could argue I might have appeared intoxicated. Was I intoxicated? I'll leave you to decide.
Yeah.
I said, you guys have gotten real skimpy on the goat cheese lately in the harvest salad. And the fear in the eyes of the woman I was speaking to sort of conveyed to me that it was time for me to end the conversation in that moment. But it was about to be it was about to be my own Indiana Starbucks.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I know, don't gaslight me, bitch. I know. I'm looking 2 chunks on here at most. It used to be a whole crumbling.
It's so weird when a restaurant chain does that.
Yeah.
And you're
Chain.
like, I've gone multiple times. And it's not just this one person.
Right.
It is
right.
you have made a policy to change something here, and it's worse. It sucks now. Like
I'm an agreeable
salad
guy.
places do it all the time.
I don't have a temper. I'm an agreeable guy. I was like, I eat at this fucking goddamn soulless salad place. Is swearing allowed?
Yeah, no temper
Oh,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, is swearing allowed?
Okay, because I have a disgusting.
I love that you
horrible
said you
mouth.
had no temper, and then this fucking shithole.
Soulless.
I'm like this shithole, shitty piece of asshole salad chain. I was like, I eat at this shithole every day. The goat cheese, like I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like I notice things.
I accused them once. We were in a fight on Twitter. Sweetgreen. And I like in my rant about whatever happened, I was also like, first you make your bowls smaller. Don't think I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
They changed their bowls.
Yeah.
I swear,
I know,
the dimensions
I know.
are different.
No, it's not as good. It's like
the hexagonal concave, they think they're being
Insane!
they think they're like, oh, we're MoMA gift
We'll
shop
trick 'em,
now.
we'll trick 'em.
We have this fancy. It's
Yeah.
like, no, that's your fancy way of giving me less space.
yeah. I mean, they mathematically
the
did it.
good stuff.
They probably were like,
Yes.
this
Well-
will save us 10% on each fucking
Yes,
bowl, and then they
yes.
just
Some
throw it like
nerd.
we won't
Some
notice
nerd.
it. It's crazy.
And you know what they said? I could go on a borderline psychotic. The lip of the bowl is wider now because of the hexagon, the vibes of the hexagon. And they said these little rodents, they're going to come in, they're going to say munch, munch, munch. They're going to eat the salad. They're not going to notice. But you know what? Some of us are crazy.
Yeah.
Some of us eat salad every day and we're crazy.
But we're still
And some of
going
us-
there. That's
and
the
we
thing.
and we still go and we suck it down.
I don't go as much. For a while you're like, I can't tell if it's
Well,
COVID
yeah.
or blah blah blah, but you're like, it's not as good. Not
Well,
as good.
yeah, I don't go anymore because I don't have dining dollars. So I'm not paying $14 for the goat cheese gaslight
it's-
experience.
it's-
you know what I mean?
$9. Where were you going to school?
Columbia.
Columbia.
University. Yes.
Why do you say it like that? You should be
Oh,
proud.
yeah.
Okay, we'll go
Well,
there. Good. I'd love to take a shit on a college.
Oh, we didn't
But
do
real-
the thing yet. We haven't played your intro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
you,
yeah.
You were talking about the Starbucks thing. I don't know why.
Okay.
I
I don't know what button to hit. I'm not the button.
We're very excited. We are now must be 4 hours into this podcast already, and happy to bring on our guest. You just had an audition. Can you say what it's for? Okay, so
No.
Just
good,
say the casting
good.
director.
Yes, just say the casting director's address.
Rhymes with Pinton Parentino.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
No, I'm kidding.
So stand-up comedian, writer, any other you like in there? Twitter master.
Cutie pie.
Cutie
I'd
pie.
say.
I think it would be strange if I volunteered that one. It would be very forward of me.
I think it's kind of rude that you didn't.
Comedian,
but,
writer,
you know.
cutie pie, Kristofer Thomas. And will you say something negative to lead us into this about yourself, life in general, whatever?
Fuck you.
This is the downside.
1, 2, 3. Downside. You're listening to The Downside.
The Downside.
With Gianmarco
Your life,
Soresi.
you're like, fuck
Fuck
you.
Fuck
just-
you,
it-
Gianmarco.
It came out of me. Yeah.
So you were going to Columbia pre-pandemic?
Yes. Yeah. I was a pandemic finisher, mid pandemic finisher.
So 2020
graduate.
was
That's
your
the,
what
That's
year?
the word for that. 2020.
Was your senior year?
Yes.
And what was your major?
I was a double major, so don't make assumptions.
Okay.
Theater and German literature.
Oh.
Wow.
And I had a concentration in translation studies, and I wrote a thesis on the performativity of fascism in Weimar, Berlin.
So making money is important to you.
So making money is, bottom tier on my list of priorities. Yeah, which is funny because I don't have any.
No.
So it should be higher.
I
probably.
did a Columbia theater production. It was an MFA program. It was a 150-person version of Spoon River anthology.
When?
Like the first year I moved
The
to New
river
York.
is made of spoons.
You've never heard of Spoon River?
No.
It was like a famous monologue book that Sanford Meisner really took to for his exercises, where each is a beyond the grave monologue of like this rural town, and a bunch of theater kids who have never seen a cow in person would pretend that they could
Yeah.
understand the struggle of rural America.
They actually love doing it upstate. The people do it all the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It's because
Yeah.
it's easy to do. You can cast as many people as you want.
Yeah.
It's just monologues. And I thought it'd be cool to be part of a 150-person production, but that just meant that your part was 150th.
Right. That's actually the I know exactly what you mean. Unfortunately, I was a theater kid. And
Yeah.
you always think the bigger you're like, ooh, la la la, and then it's like,
Yeah.
I'm a minnow.
Yeah.
So you
I'm a spoon.
were in your last year,
Yes.
and then how quickly did they start Zoom classes once everything shut down, like March 15th, about 2020?
Yeah, that was honestly eerily accurate.
I had a weekend that got
Yeah.
canceled, so I
was like,
remember
that
it
was
well.
really, you plucked that with with a stunning specific. Yeah. So it was March 17th, I think, actually. Yeah. And I was also, I stayed in the city for a while because I was also like working, and then that stopped. And everyone was online. It was like this bizarre. It was just bizarre.
What work were you doing?
I worked at Performing Arts Conservatory for young children in Harlem.
Oh, was that fulfilling, or was it? Did you feel like you were?
Yeah, I honestly, and this is like a negative podcast. I loved it. I didn't love the pay. Fuck the pay.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Fuck the pay. There you
Downside.
go.
Downside's
Yeah,
the pay.
yeah.
Loved the kids, angels,
Yeah.
art, fulfilling, blah blah.
But you're not. You don't feel good about Columbia. What do you not like about Columbia?
I think what's the? I'm thinking of the politician answer. I'm like, well, great facets to any institution. The kids were assholes and kind of, I think I just also had to work full time through college.
That feels.
That feels-
I
and
can't
that
even
was
imagine.
well, it's also like nobody else there did. So I have a few friends.
Yeah.
I met some of my best friends there. I live with them now. Sweet angels. I love them. Would never have been able to do anything if I hadn't gone there. So it's maybe a little bit, hindsight's 2020, fuck that place kind of thing. I'm grateful for the opportunities I had there. I just think, I became very disillusioned with college is everything. That was what was pushed on me all of high school. Like, get the SAT scores, get into college, And I get there and I was like, you guys are sort of not fun.
But it's good that you have that realization in college. I feel like
Yeah.
And I feel like it's better to be in college in New York. You have to face the real world and see the real world.
Yeah.
Very viscerally,
Yes.
as opposed to a campus
Yes.
where you're like, it
Where
does
you're
seem like it's
delaying real
everything.
world. You're delaying like this real world thing. You
Yes,
know,
and
you
you're
can be
in
in your
an
little bubble and you're
idyllic-
like, oh, it's, and then
You're going hiking.
Yeah,
Like, grow
yeah,
up. You know what I mean?
So college shuts down. They move to Zoom. Did you stay in New York?
So I stayed in New York for a little bit. I'm gonna die here. You're gonna pull me out
Yeah.
in a coffin. I was dark. It's the downside.
Yeah.
Fuck off. You know what I mean? Coffin vibes. Yeah, so I stayed in New York for a while. And then I went home. I moved around a lot as a kid. My parents currently live in Portland, Maine.
Okay.
I'm trying to. Oh, I was just there. I did one show there, but I don't really know it super well. But it seemed lovely.
Well, you do know it if you were like. It's small. It's small.
I see.
It's. I think it's good to like it's beautiful and not a lot going on. But it was like I felt a little bit like I would gaslight myself in a positive way, and I think I was like Edgar Allan Poe up there in the woods.
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean? Like writing because I was going crazy.
Yeah.
So it was my own personal like Raven. You know what I mean? Whatever.
How long were you there for? Like.
So I was there for like a year.
Wow.
Yeah, because I had to get a job to come back.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
oh yeah, because the performance thing. I'm assuming that just they weren't doing that.
Yeah. So they for a while
time.
we switched to like online classes, but like then they had to nonprofit. They had to have half the shit going on. So then I was like tutoring online. For amazing money.
Did you go to the Zoom graduation?
I did. Yeah. They put
How sad was it?
Oh, it was the 13th reason for at least half the graduating class. Like they had this montage, and it was like a filmed ahead montage of like someone made a PowerPoint and then saved each slide individually. You know what I mean? And like put it in put some Mariah Carey over it, and it was really yeah.
Did you have to say anything? Did you like hold up your thing or no? Okay,
no. It was like you watched it. I didn't mind that part though. Like,
it'd be funny if they said each name. You know how they bring you on stage. Like for some people, that's their child's first and last time they're ever going to be on a stage.
Yeah.
And they just spotlit your screen for like a second.
Yes. Yeah. Well, not even, because there were a lot of international students that I think just, maybe not couldn't be there, but like internet is not a thing for everybody, I think. You know what I mean? Like, so they just didn't do that part as much. And so you just kind of heard your name. Like you had a slide of your name
and
that was it.
That sounds very depressing.
Yeah. It was depressing. It was the downside. Let me tell you.
I mean, my graduation was lame too.
Yeah.
I was not into college. I
didn't go when I went to the first one, and then for when I got my MFA, I was like, I'm not going to that.
I don't even have my diploma because I had an overdue library book.
Gianmarco.
And I chose the book over the diploma.
I actually don't have my diploma because I have a PE class that I didn't do.
Oh my God. Wait, but
a PE class?
They won't give you or you didn't graduate. Like, no, you graduated.
Well, yeah, it's like I have to pay a fee and like submit proof that I did it and I didn't do it. And yeah.
So if you had to take it, would you have to? I think in like 20 years, if you went back and took a PE class,
you could do a whole like
that would be very fun.
You could do a reality show on it.
Right,
Wouldn't that be funny?
To pay for the fee.
I tried to write a pilot on it, and then I was like, "This is weird. This is just really weird. So I'm gonna just not do this."
Wait, so that's interesting. So what was the requirement at Columbia? Because my school had a requirement too. Is 4 semesters.
It was
of a physical education.
You had to take it. It also had to do with like it's part of this like core. They have a really demanding core, and you have to take it. And it can only be like there's a swim test involved.
What?
Because like back at Columbia is like 3,000 years old, and it used to be like they were scared for some reason that students were going to drown. So they made people take a swim test. I have not taken the swim test. I was a competitive swimmer for like 6 years. I haven't taken the swim test by Columbia standards.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, honestly, it's probably the kind of thing where like it's paperwork that I'm ignoring.
Yeah.
I think ultimately, because I think I could figure it out.
Yeah.
Columbia looks good. If I went to Columbia, I'd get that diploma.
Yeah. It's something I should
right
sit down and do. Ultimately.
Right in front of the Uncle Function picture of Columbia.
I don't like it when people hang up
this
their
Uncle Function. I've actually been staring at it.
It's their sketch team.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And it's only there because I don't have a diploma from Columbia University.
I was like, it's a function of uncles.
You don't like a
hanging diplomas? No.
No, me either, right? Yeah.
It's gross.
Thank you.
It's like I don't even like it when doctors do it. I'm like, gross.
I'll tell you about. I got.
I trust you.
I trust you.
Well,
like,
I'll tell
names
you
in
the opposite.
building.
I got a doctor once when my insurance, when I was no longer qualified for insurance under SAG.
Yeah.
And my new doctor, he had a diploma and then a frame that was like 4 times too big for the diploma. and like it was just kind of like sitting there in the corner, his diploma, and that's when I was like, oh, I don't trust this doctor now. I'm not going to trust your prescription is going to be accurate if you couldn't get a correct frame for your diploma.
Frame that thing right.
No, but I think
totally.
I'm so disillusioned with all college stuff that I'm like, I just am like, I don't care. It's all weird to me. Like anyone that really excels at it, I'm like, I don't quite trust you. I mean, no,
well,
I don't know. There's just like, I actually, no, I take that back. If you excel
It's a lot of people.
If you excel at it, that's fine.
It's like a lot of people.
You don't like the Supreme Court nominee?
Anyone that's like super proud of their college still, do you know what I mean? Like it's like that John Mulaney bit. Anyone that's like too proud of college or like where they went still, I'm like, that's weird. It's embarrassing. It's
people
like,
who get excited like, oh, you went to Miami?
Or they
and
still
I'm like,
follow
they follow
the team.
You went to
still,
you went to Miami.
University of Miami, yeah.
You did.
Yeah, well,
that is so. I would never have.
But it was because they had a theater program. I mean, that's all it was. I got a musical theater scholarship, but like that's not me. My sister went to University of Miami. She's posting pictures.
Cool.
Snoop Dogg passing her a joint at a concert.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm like,
must be cool.
I went to one football game.
Yeah,
I went to the beach 3 times.
Got it.
Like
got it.
insane, gross.
Yeah.
Waste of college.
Yeah, I know some kids from my school went to like down there for school, and they were all cool.
Yeah,
you know, they're all.
See, no, I have 2 of the closest people in my life.
Actually, did I just imply that you're not cool?
Yeah, pretty hard.
But I was going to say you and my wife, who are not necessarily the people that you're like they are cool, both went there.
Well,
it's interesting.
Here's
I
what
like
say.
that you meet people sometimes. You're like,
Here's what I'll say. They're the kind of people. This is actually what I meant. Was like they're the kind of people that like don't know have never seen live theater. Like they have a life outside. Like I don't picture theater people down there. I'm a theater weirdo. You know, I don't picture my kind. In that area. But that's cool.
Now, when did you switch from like theater to comedy? Like, because I had a very much I was an actor. And then
I am an actor. It's a sad little tale. Well, it's a confession. A confession.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why. And I'm an actor. It feels to me I'm like,
I feel like the more you become a comedian, the harder it is to like swallow some of the acting stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So I did, and this sounds like some little Cinderella tale. I took Strasbourg classes at night too. During college.
When did you sleep? This sounds like an
insane. I didn't sleep much, and I was doing that, and I was like, I love because I do love movies and love acting and stuff, and I was like, I'm going to do this, and then I think at some point it was one of the mental breakdowns. I was like, I should try comedy because I love making people laugh, and everyone was like, okay, is there something you should be taking that you're not taking? I was like, yeah. There is.
Sure.
So I would take it and then start comedy. And that was a convoluted way of saying, I don't think I ever really, like, there's no point I can identify. It was like somewhere in the mess, the muddle of college. I was like, I'm doing so much shit. Where's my tight 5? You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Googled like Bad Slava. You know, like
Bad Slava. That's the open mic website.
So I was like, I Googled like open mic, NYC, and then I showed up.
And you just started doing it.
Yeah.
Do you remember your first like 5 minutes or your first like what that kind of content was, and if that's still in your?
Oh yeah, no, I remember. This was also like the sort of maybe detail that might illuminate a lot of the madness is like this was before I came out also. So I was like I started stand up and I was like my whole set was I was like she her I'm I can't even do my old, sounds misogynistic now. I try to imitate my old voice.
Very, very funny. Somebody accuses you of what the fuck is this?
Oh, I've had that problem. There's the guy, when I started Hormones, there got to be a point where like I was trying to do my old jokes and I was like, what's up with periods? And everyone was like, this guy's an asshole. And I was like, no. It was like a weird time. It was weird. I started doing comedy and I was like, I'm this like little dyke. And then I was like, none of that's true.
So how much comedy did you do before you transitioned?
Probably like 9 or 10 months.
Yeah.
And then it was like the pandemic hit and like everybody else I was like, well, obviously I'm a dad, so obviously, like it was felt like this moment to be honest with myself, kind of.
Was it while you were at home or was it while you were in New York?
Well, it started in New York. I started like this is so corny, but it's so true. I feel like I was doing a lot of stuff that was like, I was going to classes and like acting classes and doing a lot of stuff that was very being someone else. And then I was like, I love comedy, and I know I'm at least moderately amusing, and I have to be someone that I'm not on the little stage. Like, none of these jokes make sense to me in my heart. And then I was like, why is that, dude? Yeah. So it sort of stand up actually, I think was the catalyst for me coming out.
Did it feel weird in acting too? Did it feel strange of like, I want to play this and not this in the scene?
1,000%, because I had stand up about this like in my early coming out days, ironically, but like as a kid I always played the male lead in all the musicals because I was like taller than all the like boys.
Yeah.
And so I was like Tony in West Side Story.
Yeah.
I was like Bugsy Malone and Bugsy Malone. Like I was like,
wait, were you Tony though?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Wow.
That feels like, looking back, it must feel like,
I'm like,
I could have realized it right.
I'm like
there.
Yeah.
The photos I posted them before. I mean, are truly absurd. I was Grandpa Joe and Willy Wonka. Like, dude. I was like, well, let's go to the factory. Like, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
who was
funny.
I fooling? Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was that whole thing, and then I got to.
I just
Well,
find
it's
like
interesting.
all these Republicans are like, they're worried about like teaching in schools about things.
Yeah,
but it's like,
yeah.
what if it's the casting? It's like, you cannot cast
Yeah.
a girl as Grandpa Joe. We know we've
my
said you
God.
cast Grandpa Joe, and then
slippery
10 years
slope.
it's a
Yeah.
slippery slope.
It's a long slippery slope.
I mean, it's 1,000% the fault of the theater.
Yeah.
1,000%.
What's such an
blaming.
interesting thing about how theater.
I was just gonna say they
Yeah.
sometimes because the certain types of plays and the certain types of things that are done over and over again.
Yeah.
There's like these weird like I feel like there's such gendered things in that. Like you're like if you're put in something and you're like, oh, I really don't feel like over and over. I mean, I'm maybe thinking of my theater thing, which was a very classical theater training program. I don't know. Maybe it's come a long way in the last 10 years, but I feel like there's this weird thing where you're doing these such old things that are like, you're either this or you're this, or they put people in slots that are very rigid.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would really be illuminating if you're like, I don't connect to any of this,
Totally, yeah.
Well, my first, not to say it's the same thing, but when I did my first like big theater thing, it was in my first comedy theater thing. It was Stregonona, which, do you remember that book?
Oh, of course.
And Stregonona, this sexist bitch, Stregonona says she's only going to teach women how to make the noodles or whatever.
Oh,
and so in third grade,
yeah.
I played, I think his name was Anthony.
Yeah.
I think so. And his thing, he puts on a dress. And he pretends to be a woman so he can learn the lesson of the thing. And of course, again, this is third grade. I'm not pretending this was revelatory here. I put on a dress and probably was like, hello, how are you? But there was something about, and that's the first time I made people laugh. I could, of course. But there is something about like, something about theater and acting is also about identity and not fitting in one way or another. And I'm not saying me like wanting to do that was because I wanted to wear a dress, but it was because I wasn't happy or comfortable and I wanted to like explore in that theatrical space.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm way hotter than Grandpa Joe, so definitely wasn't, Mr. Nightgown. But I also like, by the way, he hopped. The whole premise of the musical is just get into the problematic nature of that. He's the four of them are sausaged up, like little sardined up in that bed, and then he springs right up to go to the chocolate factory with his grandson. I'm like, I know a scam when I see one, but that being said, no, I mean, not to deflect from your very touching story there, which I actually completely agree with. Like, if you're uncomfortable as a kid, the theater is appealing. I almost said arousing, and I was like, nope, appealing, and regardless of where that discomfort comes from,
It's just interesting that the
You know?
comedy is for you. It's where you had the revelation, and I guess it's because you're
Yeah.
writing from your own.
Yeah, right.
You can't
right.
fake what you think is funny.
Right. And I
Yeah.
was like, ultimately, I don't care about these random lesbians. Love them.
Were you
Not
doing?
my-
You were doing like lesbian jokes, like
I was like, it was like not at like, I had like the stereo. I feel like I started going to all these like kind of gay mics in Brooklyn where it was like, you know, make jokes, whatever. And then when I started to I tried to get into like the club scene more. It was like, okay, how do you make drunk Midwestern tourists in Midtown laugh?
sure.
Like, well, I'm and like you have a couple classic heavy hitters that, get people's jowls jiggling, laughing, get people laughing. Why did I? Get people's jowls jiggling. And I was like, this feels weird. It just, what do I pull from? What's my like shtick as a comedian? Like I have to have a couple things. Like it's definitely not this,
Yeah.
So I think, it was like there was no monologue, there was no script to memorize. It was like, come up with a script,
Yeah.
fucker.
Yeah, you do have to identify your core thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's only the things that you really have a point of view on that you'll think of a good joke. It's not even intentional, but it's like if you're going to come up with a good thing, it's got to be something you have a real strong point of view on.
Yeah.
And your real point of views
Absolutely.
come from yourself.
Yeah.
So when you moved back home, what is the process exactly? Like, especially in the downsides, what's the struggle of like, especially like at the end of college? Like college, at the beginning of college is where you kind of, every phase of school is kind of, from in my mind, at least I did, it started like my new identity. Like I started high school and for a second I was like, I'm goth. And it collapsed. But it's like, but at the end of college, after you've been with people for so long, was it like a one by one thing? Was it a small circle, bigger circle, bigger circle?
You mean like coming out?
Yeah.
It's funny. It was like, well, that was when I joined Twitter.
Okay.
I see.
Well, yeah. I had joined in that December, and I was like, I'm gender queer. I was like, flirting with language there. I wasn't being concrete. You know what I mean? And then I was mid-March was home, and I had my girlfriend at the time. She had known for months because just knew me like intimately. Was like kind of was not surprised.
Yeah.
Was the first person I told. She was like, yeah. Oh.
Were you scared to say?
Not to her and not to my friends, all of whom are really gay, like not to that, most of whom. But like to my family, that's a hard one. It's a hard one to stomach, especially trying to come into like masculinity and and like at the time I was like, like it was a little awkward. It felt awkward. Like,
Do you think they took it seriously like immediately, or do they think they thought, oh, okay,
that,
we'll see in 6 months?
I'll say we don't speak much anymore.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. So they didn't take it well.
But you were staying there at this time.
Oh, wow.
And something within me was like, and looking back, I'm like, I get that the catharsis, like the moment was helpful for my own like work, honestly, and like stuff like that. But maybe I could have waited until I was closer to leaving to drop the bomb on the folks.
Oh, yeah. How much time was in
a
there?
year.
Oh, you did it early on. And
It
then,
was
okay,
like
wow.
I was in my room,
Yeah.
because they were like, something's going on upstairs and we don't want to talk about it. And I was like, well, I'm going to write a screenplay.
Yeah.
So I came out to them. That was the internet was obviously great. Well, my little corner of the internet, I had like 300 followers at the time, so it was like everyone was like, "Yay!" I just say that because like now, you attract some people who are like less yay, but like at the time, it was nice. I had a nice little bubble. Friends were great. It was really just that they were the only. Not so great.
Yeah. Do you feel like any of that year was helpful in any of the like
Having time off from
work,
like
in the work that you were like, you said you wrote a screenplay. Like, was there like, did you like feel like you had to have that experience, or you really wish now that you just waited? Like, you're like, I can really use this and summon like lots of good nuggets from it, or no, I'm too close to it still to be like, no, it just would have been better if I waited a little longer, to let them know.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, specifically to let them know, that could have held off on that. I think, you know what? Honestly, I can't say.
Yeah, it's too hard.
I can't say.
It was like not that long ago.
My
either,
impulse is to say yes, and then I'm like, well, I was like kind of, trying to do too much and kind of a chronic overachiever. I think I still am, but like I'm honestly tethered to reality now in a way that I wasn't before, when I was like, whatever, nothing is real. None of us like our genders. It's like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, none of us know who we are.
Yeah.
Now I was like, oh shit. And so I shut myself up there and I wrote like, was like, I'm gonna write a bunch of scripts. And I'm gonna be a TV writer. I'm gonna do this on Twitter. I'm gonna do this video. I'm gonna do this thing. And I, physically couldn't really engage with it was my room. Like I was in my room. And so in some ways I think it was good, and I say that like tentatively.
Yeah.
It wasn't an ideal situation, but like nobody who's fucking good at anything has had it. Like,
I agree. It is like sometimes it's like,
well, come on.
The best art comes out of just being some kind of uncomfortable or misery or pressure or just like a need
feeling
to
like
escape.
feeling like shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like I was gonna feel. I don't think I would have felt eons better. Like coming out in New York. Like it's not like fun.
Yeah.
And so I ultimately think I aged 10 years in a year, but I take that as a positive.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah.
Did you start testosterone? Did you start that while you were home?
No, that was not going to be feasible, unfortunately, because it's also, this is Portland, Maine. So it's like, it's like everything is like horse and buggy practically up there. It's like there's like one pharmacy. I can't drive also.
Yeah. Oh,
I can't drive either.
Well, yeah.
Oh, because of that?
Yeah.
Is that why?
That was just that was my joke. That was my joke.
Oh, that was your joke.
Yeah. I wasn't being like, fuck it.
He doesn't know our code.
Yeah. It's
No, I missed
he's
the
like,
gesture.
because of basketball? Because shooting a free throw?
Because I was shooting hoops. I couldn't drive. I was, LeBroning out in the yard and was too busy to. It was not going to be a feasible thing. Also because they want you to like, you need like a diagnose, like you need a bunch of stuff that I couldn't make happen at the time. But I started like the day I was back in the spring. And that was like about almost a year ago.
Because I've seen you type about just the paperwork and the massive amounts and the doctors having to...
They have to be like, we promise he's not going to blow his brains out if you let him do this. Like, it's kind of nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was just the medical system, obviously, a
this
disaster.
is a bit. I want to talk about downside.
That's what I do. Yeah.
Ask a training about the healthcare system. 1000%. Like, yeah.
Which, so was the testosterone the first like big step?
Yeah. That's like, I feel like for most trans men, that's like yeah. And it's pretty easy. You kind of just.
But is the paperwork or the doctor? Did you have to find the right doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Okay, so if you want to do it, what you do is you Google, how do I do it?
Yeah.
And then they say, here's how you do it. Go to your amazing doctor that we assume you have and just say, I want to do this. And they're going to say, we love you, baby boy. Here's some testosterone. Like they present. If you don't have anything, you can go to Planned Parenthood, which they try their best. They need more money. Like they don't, like it's like months. You wait for an appointment for 3 months, whatever.
Yeah.
I found a service called Plume. I'm actually going to plug them. Plume. Plume. It's entirely trans doctors. It's pretty cool.
It would be incredible if that was our sponsor. I just think that would be incredible.
I think
if
that
Plume
would be
sponsored the downside.
Yeah.
So Plume, if you're listening,
I mean, that would be
instead of that racist coffee thing that
we get randomly assigned ads, and it's like this, but all the roasters are racist.
Yeah. So instead of that racist coffee thing, we'd like Plume to please sponsor us.
Instead of that, Plume, the transgender affirming healthcare provider. I love them, and it was like, it's like $90 a month. It's supposed to plan Parenthood, which is $0, but like that to me is a lot of money, but like it was so worth it. You basically, like, I signed up, and they assign you a doctor, and the doctor gets you a prescription. Yeah.
In New York, it must be easier in New York.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you live in like one of the other states. The states, I mean, I'm not even I don't know. I don't even want to speak on the process in other states. Like, I have no idea. It can be a nightmare.
But the doctor has to say, like...
So you have to be diagnosed with gender dysphoria, which is gender dysphoria, basically. Like, and it's a diagnosis. And then they, like... that's what you need to be prescribed it. You need a doctor also who's willing to do that.
Yeah. But that's what's so strange because I feel like I see a therapist. I've seen a psychologist for who is it that gives you the actual like antidepressants? Psychiatrist.
You know, like, I know that information.
But this is like a doctor who's going to make a psychiatric evaluation.
Yes. So most psychiatrists won't write HRT prescriptions. It's like you need a medical doctor because it's also like, I mean, and also to be fair, it's more like, I'd say more so than like antidepressants. You know, I mean, it's for like blunt, it's like a chemical section. Like it's pretty intensive physically. So you need blood work taken every 3 months to like make sure your levels are normal. You need stuff like that, right? What a lot of doctors will accept is like a note from your therapist or psychiatrist being like, he has gender dysphoria, give him the thing.
I see.
But I at the time didn't have I had a therapist, but she didn't like, it was like a group, like I didn't really have a personal therapist.
Yeah.
So I needed a doctor who could diagnose me and prescribe for me. And it's like, what do you go to City MD? You know what I mean? Like if you don't have that kind of access, so you need someone to. That's why people wait months to get into Planned Parenthood, because the doctor there will be like, "Yep, you have the thing, and I will give you the medication." It
just seems so challenging. I've never had to have a doctor decide something. My therapist would trust me.
They're supposed to. Yeah, I mean, it's also funny, like with this whole like. With all this shit right now, I'm like, it's so hard to get access to stuff. Like, if you're like, it's not like it's easy to get on any of these medications, you know, like, so it's funny that it's just, I feel like anybody who, all of these legislators, I'm like, you guys try, like literally one of you, just for an experiment, like use an alias, try to get estrogen, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, good luck. It'll take you fat, month and a half minimum. And then it's like they want you to have therapy a little,
Yeah.
And when you start testosterone, is there any, like when you first started it, was it an intensive experience? What did you feel?
It's like, okay, so currently I'm in puberty. I'm in the middle of puberty, which is, I don't know how y'all did this at 14.
It was tough.
Because I'm so horny and starving all the time. I'm just hungry and horny. And the voice crack was fascinating to go through. I was like,
So you're over that phase?
I think so. Sometimes when my roommate says, sometimes when I talk a long time, he hears it go down a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, maybe.
I mean, my voice will still crack once in a while.
Yeah.
During stand-up if I get yelly.
Yeah.
If
you're at Starbucks and you're yelling, right?
If you're yelling at a manager.
But that Seinfeld became famous for like, what's the deal?
Yeah.
Well, right. Yeah. It's part of I made it part of the, part of my routine for a while. Cause I was like, I'm a yodeler now. And it's like, see, I can't do it anymore properly. But there was a time I was an excellent yodeler for like 2 months. I was really like, I nailed that. But
it's funny if you were hanging out with a bunch of like 13-year-old boys, be like, puberty's crazy, right?
puberty's fucking nuts,
horny,
bro.
Yeah, you guys as horny as me.
You guys want some pussy or what? Like, you guys trying to?
We're all here trying to get some pussy.
We're all here trying to get some pussy, bro. Yeah.
That is.
It
was outside the horny stuff. It was just. I feel like we were. I
think you were about to say, I'll tell you the horniest I ever was. I was like,
no.
Like, sure,
outside of the horny stuff, I do. I mean, I was a fat kid, so I was eating a lot too. But also, I do remember this thing. Like you were like an animal that you had to eat. Like you're like school was done, and you're like,
I need to feed.
Yeah, I need to feed.
I can't keep I can't keep that. I'm like vaguely. I'm like somewhat active. I'm not like pumping iron, but like I can't keep the weight. Like I like shoving it in my face.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked food. I just never had this carnivorous not carnivorous. Ravenous appetite. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of it when I started was like honestly the mental relief, which is how I knew it was right for me, because like the second I did my first shot, I was like, I feel it, and I was like, I definitely don't, but it was like my heart felt it, and so I was like, it was like I could relax a little bit because I was like, oh, in 6 months I won't have to, like, my life will be a little smoother, yeah. Perceived how you want, all that jazz.
And did you know everything that it was going to change? Like, I mean, you must have done a shitload of reading of all these things, I imagine.
I did a lot of reading. There's some things I didn't expect. I feel like I don't have any. I feel like I'm a great spokesperson for. I haven't experienced any negative. Sometimes people have like mood swings and stuff that's also kind of normal puberty. But I feel like maybe it's because I've had so much therapy at this point, like that like going through puberty, I went through one, obviously a different one. And I feel like that one I had more, like, I'm an adult now. It's like you're going through that shit, all the turbulence, whatever, but you're an adult, so you can not deal with it better. So I feel like, to me, I'm like, I was expecting, especially with the way people talk about it in the media, they're like, you're gonna be a monster, and I feel like has been pretty chill.
Yeah, that's good.
It's been pretty chill. Yeah.
And now, at some point, does it level off? So you said you're in the middle of puberty.
Yeah. So it's like, middle of puberty. 2 to 3 years. You're not gonna look like much different after that, except aging. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. Like, 2-3 years.
And then you continue the injections forever.
Yes. Yeah. You take them. I think I'll switch to monthly. I take it once a week. It's all about like when you want to do. Some people do gel. There's like a gel. I think it's easier. I'm not gonna remember to put that shit on every morning. I just know I would mess up something.
Yeah, sure.
Blood work would come back. Something is bad right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's easier. And I kind of I feel like MacGyver. I feel really cool. I'm like,
like oh my God.
I feel like John Bon Jovi. I'm like so fucking
Yeah.
So you do it forever
until you start complaining about cancel culture. Then you just reached it,
and then
you're done.
Right. And that's
that
when
is so funny. Oh my God, that would be so
that's
funny.
The peak. That's the peak.
You're like,
if at some point you're like, you know what? Oh, fuck, that would be so
I'm
funny.
done.
Wow, this is really working.
1000%. Yeah, exactly.
What's with these trophies if you don't win? I don't.
I mean,
Wow.
exactly. Yeah. And now I'm doing all the paperwork for like the surgeries, which is like,
what are the surgeries?
I mean, that seems like there would be like so much, you have to gather so much shit.
Top surgery is like pretty smooth to plan. I have like a month or so, which will be nice. And then, but like dick surgery is the amount of paperwork that you have to do is. Someone should write a play about that.
Have you done enough? Because you proved gender dysphoria, at least to get the testosterone.
Well, sure. But you have to they make stuff up. I think they make up words.
For sure.
They're like, you have to come couple, and I'm like, what? And they're like, this form, write it out. Like there are forms. You have to wait for you submit shit to your insurance, being like, hi. And then they say no. They say rephrase this. So you say okay. Like stuff like that. It's just back and forth. Also, you have to find a doctor.
Is this the order? Do you need to take testosterone before you do bottom surgery, or like is it testosterone top bottom?
That's it's kind of a rhyme. That's kind of a jig to it. That's like I'd say that's like typical. But you can do top without testosterone.
Sure.
I know a solid amount of guys who do that. It's also like non-binary people do it sometimes without testosterone.
Sure.
Bottom surgery. I have never seen someone who has gotten it without being on testosterone. I don't know if that means you can't. I haven't seen that done. That most surgeons want to see like at least for bottom surgery they want to see like at least a year of hormone therapy. They want to see medical documentation. They want to see that you're in therapy. They want to see any procedure you've ever had done. They want to see any antidepressants you take. They want to see the job you have. They want to see if you're employed.
And is any of this because more is like as I've only had surgery once, and it was a pretty minor surgery, and it was very frightening.
Congratulations.
It was very scary. Like, is there any fear just around the surgery and recovery and pain, or are you looking forward to it so tremendously that it supersedes that?
Yeah. I think I also don't. Maybe I'm not. I don't have a lot of like medical anxiety. I wouldn't be too nervous, I think, for any kind of surgery. Like, I think for some people maybe who have more medical anxiety, I could see this being. So I don't want to be like, oh, I was solved. You know what I mean? Yeah. But no, I'm just so excited. I'm like, just give me the, like, let's go. You know? Yeah. I also feel like the doctors it's not like everybody is a bottom surgery expert. It's like not that, you know what I mean? So I trust the doctors that I trust them a lot. The doctors that I've seen who do it. I'm like, a thing or two.
What does the top surgery cost?
Top surgery, out of insurance, which a lot don't cover it.
Well, I always think it's interesting on Twitter because there's a lot of, fundraising, GoFundMes and whatnot. And I mean, it's challenging to a degree because this is not just with transitioning, but like with all medical things, part of it's like, well, fuck, we can't all be funding everyone's. It becomes challenging. You see so many GoFundMes, you go like, well, this system is broken, and then the popular people are getting the money, and then what happens to the really lame person transitioning? They should be able to transition. Just the person who writes really terrible tweets should also be allowed to transition.
That no one sees or reads.
The shit poster should also get his top surgery fully funded. Oh wow, that was
my god.
It's okay.
I saw that and I went to scream.
My diploma's gonna go there.
Yeah, totally. Someone tweeted. There's this viral tweet that was like, GoFundMe has become the backbone of the American healthcare system, which is like, yeah, man, yeah. It's anywhere up to $10,000 for top surgery. Yeah. If you want it like good, I'm sure you could go. I don't know.
Which you probably do. If you want it good.
Yeah, like you probably want it to look not bad. And
I know a guy do it for $50.
Yeah,
behind my building.
I can give me a kitchen knife and a pair of, and a tourniquet and So yeah, up to $10,000 and bottom surgery. Obviously, you want a good looking result for that as well,
for sure.
And actually, the surgeon that I like the most, I think, is the nicest looking dick gallery.
Oh,
he moved.
Is it on the website? Just like right there? Like,
no, you have to request. You have to request. That's actually the interesting thing about this, because I didn't know if I wanted bottom surgery for a long time, because I was like, oh, the results that I see online, like publicly, are like immediately after operate. Like, I was like, I don't know what they are.
Yeah. You're like, I want to see 6 months, a year, 2 years down the road.
It's also funny, like after I get a haircut, sometimes they'll be like, do you mind if we take a picture for the Instagram?
Yeah.
Imagine you just no one has ever asked me that.
Your fucking cock.
You get a new dick, and they're like, hey, can we just grab this for this website?
Yeah, right.
It's not that many people that are going to agree to it.
It's kind of
to get it done.
Intimate. Yeah. And then what really happened, if this is true, is I hooked up with a guy who'd had it. And I was like, I was like, do a spin for me. I was like, do a spin for me, buddy. Yeah, you look good. You look good.
Yeah.
I was like, who's your guy? Who's your dick guy?
Did you go to, so you're interested in his dick guy?
Well, I'm interested in his dick. His dick guy.
Right. That is so funny. That's how they get all the referrals.
That's
because someone fucks their patient.
Is through.
Oh, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle gets me a lot of work.
Kyle gets me.
I mean, this guy, he was
bringing him in.
Is a total bore, but he was very handsome, so I'm sure he actually had a lot of referrals coming from him.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. No, his surgeon, different part of the world actually.
Where?
Paris. He went to Paris.
Oh.
Yeah, his mother is French.
Oh,
he was like in Paris getting it done. I was like, well, that's not helpful for me.
Yeah.
Think of me.
Well, could you go? Is Paris known for, like, is there a place like a lot of people are going to Turkey for hair transplants right now?
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the place for whatever reason.
It is. And rhinoplasties. I know a lot about plastic surgery now.
Mm-hmm.
No, the top, there were a lot of guys in Belgium and Serbia.
Really?
And the best, my dick guy, beautiful selection, in my opinion. He actually just transferred. Now is at Mount Sinai in New York. Wow. I was like, Miroslav.
That's where I got my surgery. Mount Sinai.
Right. I was like, Miroslav, baby. Did you come all this way just for me? It's amazing that you're here now.
Where was he before?
Belgrade, Serbia.
Oh, okay, wow.
So I
he
had
came
to
over.
slip out. I was like looking up like Serbia plane. Like I was like, I don't know
Yeah.
what fucking,
you
Airbnb
Jewish?
Serbia. No.
You said schlep, and I just thought
Oh, schlepsia. I think it's a great word.
it's a fantastic word.
It's a beautiful word.
So
Yeah.
what does this doctor cost then?
Well, it depends on how much. My insurance, it's like touch and go with them. It depends on how much I can convince them. Like it becomes down to part of the letter writing process is like how can you convince them that this is medically necessary, and how do you say it? Yeah, and so part of it's like my friend. There's a whole network of like therapists who are good at writing insurance letters, and we all pass them around. Like this guy,
interesting.
this guy, he'll make it sound like you're gonna die if you don't have balls tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have a scrotum by sundown, you're gonna kill yourself. This guy will make that clear. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, it's a lot of that stuff. It's
Such
still,
an it reminds me of when I hear about like immigration paperwork, where it's a
Yeah.
mixture of like the most bureaucratic government shit possible, and like also trying to make an emotional argument or like convince them on
Yes.
a human level
Yes.
amidst
Yeah.
stacks of paperwork.
absolutely. Yeah.
And so it becomes artificial, and so it becomes you hire the person who knows you. It's the same thing as college essays. It's like
I know.
it's
Yeah.
all like it's gonna be inauthentic to a degree because the confines are inhuman. You're trying to
Yeah.
be human in inhumane confines.
Yeah.
Getting a penis and applying to college are really similar processes. Quite honestly,
I would love if there was someone who's like, those are the two things they know how to write letters for.
Dick letters, college letters. He's like Dick College.
Yeah.
College, yeah. 1,000. I mean, honestly, college was harder. I think that was actually maybe a little. Well, I don't know. Who's to say?
Yeah.
But that was certainly my parents. Certainly were more invested in college. I'll say it that way. They're not reading. They're not reading the drafts of my penis letter. I'm going to tell you that. They're not like good reference. Good.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
Good mention of the
Yeah.
testes in that line,
Yeah,
honey.
yeah. Oh, that's really funny.
Oh, that's funny if you use the same references for your college essay and your penis.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. You're like,
Abraham Lincoln. Or
I have
what's-
always been a dedicated student, and I.
But you hope that's on the docket.
Yeah, I hope it's on the docket. It's like, it's anywhere from out of pocket insurance, and it can be anywhere from 60 to 100 grand for like if you want to get a good PP. With insurance, I'm gonna try to argue my way down to like 20 if I can,
Yeah.
and then save up and then pray. That works out. But also, you need the thing with this is like, you're gonna spend about 3 months on the couch.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
That's what it is. 3 months.
yeah, you're gonna be waddling for a bit. You know what I mean? Like, you have to
Yeah.
kind of plan with work. You better be working remote for a bit. Let me just say that.
You know how it was revolutionary that that comedian did a stand-up special while pregnant? I think it would be if you did a whole stand-up special
like,
immediately
yeah.
the day
Yeah.
after the
Day
surgery.
after.
I'm like, excuse the drains. Well, you're in the hospital for a couple days, and I think this is hilarious. No one else thinks this is hilarious. I'm like, you guys that's turfy. Hi, J.K. Rowling. I think this is fucking hilarious. There's a heart monitor strapped to your dick. In the
Really?
hospital for 3 days, there's like a little and it's like touching. It's strapped on there because they're checking to see if it's like living. I guess. I think maybe it's not that funny. To me, I'm just like,
No, that's very funny.
it has its own thing now. It's like its own little guy.
I had no idea.
It's like living down there. I mean, my friend who had bottom surgery recently, he was like high off his mind on Percocet. He's sending me like photos of his cock. He's like, look, there's a thing touching it. I was like, this is so funny. This is so funny.
Is it like the little thing that goes in your thumb? But
Yes,
it's at the
yes.
head of your...
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's like a
that's
dick
so
clip.
Funny.
They're like, it's like a chip clip, except not as pinchy.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's so funny.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
And there's like marks on it. You know what I mean? Like, sure. And I'm like, this is a bit.
Is it ever challenging because comedy, part of comedy is like saying like because it's such a territory that there's so many people that are still so horrible about and hateful towards, is it ever challenging of like, oh, I want to say the like fucked up thing about it, but I'm also I'm part of the like
There's
brand of trans people in America.
Yeah, there's like weird pressure on you to like be
the
this-
representative.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think any trans person who has even an ounce of like, I'm not like, no one knows who I am. It's like on the internet. It's like on the internet, like on one app.
Yeah.
Some people might, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine for trans people who are in like the spotlight. Like that must be kind of psychotic.
Sure.
But yeah. I feel like people, if I make a joke, it's hard to make jokes. Yeah, it can be and invoke this because people will quote you being like, well, think of our community. I'm like, I am.
Yeah, and you'll have the other
I
people.
am of the community. Like, shut the fuck up. You know?
And you'll have transphobic
There's not-
people
yeah.
ready to jump on it and be
Yes.
like, you see?
Yes.
Look.
Yeah.
I make a couple. Oh yeah. And okay, my favorite thing about this also is like sometimes I make like a joke and they want to say the transphobic side, they want to say like, look at this disgusting guy, but then they're like, oh wait, because they'll be like, ew, man pig, and then they're like, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like I've seen that happen more and more with the jokes. I don't think they know what to do with me anymore. Because you know what I mean? Like they're like,
oh, interesting.
yeah, like same with like trans women. They'll be like, oh, you're a whore and a bimbo and a bitch, and they're like, well, but you know what I mean? Like there's this weird like don't know how to lob criticism at you. So
Yeah.
they're just like, well, you're transgender. It's like so true.
yeah,
Accurate, baby.
yeah.
So it's weird. It's weird.
Do you have to run?
No,
It's
I have
7:07.
a thing at 8.
Okay, me too. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go to our next segment. This has gotta stop.
This has gotta stop.
This has gotta stop. Did you have a this has gotta stop?
Yes,
Oh, you do?
I did. I remember the email. I remember the two things. So I say it.
Tell us what's gotta stop.
Well, I had two angles for this. The first is sort of anticlimactic. We were already discussing it. Twitter discourse was my. The other one I was like I'm gonna. I was like organic deodorant
Let's do organic. Only
yeah.
because Twitter comes up.
because Twitter
Is
like
just
a
a constant
cesspool of-
cesspool. But organic deodorant, because I have been with someone who wore organic deodorant.
Oh, and were you also a victim?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
it was a rough time.
Yeah. Well, right.
It's not very strong.
Yeah, no.
All natural, organic. It's a scam. It's a scam.
Yeah, it
And they-
doesn't make sense.
Is there anything in there?
It's
Did you
like-
ever use it?
Well, so a woman convinced me once. We were intimate. And she had these like chalk things that she would rub on her armpits. And they're very expensive. They're very, very expensive. They're like $20. You order a box of rocks and you rub them on your armpits and you stink. Oh God, you stink. And that was this has to stop. I was like, this is you smell bad.
What was the
still.
benefit?
It's like smell prevention. They think it's deodorant. These people.
But can't they? I mean, are they? Is it the luxury of only being like not being able to recognize it in yourself, and then you're just lucky that no one else around you is doing that? Is that because I
Well-
feel like if they had one more person that they encountered, that they were like, I do it too, and then they smelled them, they'd be like,
That's
oh,
I think
okay, so it doesn't work.
I think the issue with her is that she's really hot.
Oh,
Kind of out of my league. And I think I was like, yeah, no one's going to tell you smell bad, honey.
Can I tell you?
Oh.
Exact same thing.
Right?
Exact same thing.
Hot girl rubbing
Exact same
fucking
But I don't
sand on her
understand.
armpits.
No one's telling you this.
But I
No
don't
one
know
would
if
ever
telling
say
you
to
this.
you. Everyone wants to fuck you. Everyone's dying.
They're
fuck you.
dying.
I
No
go a
one-
day and a half without wearing deodorant. If I do, I don't do it often. But I'm saying if I do,
Okay.
I know.
Day and a half.
Okay.
I could never.
That's what I'm saying.
Interesting, yeah.
That's what I'm saying though. Like I'm saying pandemic.
pandemic, sure.
Pandemic.
Well, puberty.
We're not
I'm-
leaving our house. We're not leaving our house. We're blah blah blah.
You start
But-
wearing Axe, you're in the middle
you
of
know.
puberty. You're like, why do I feel an urge to buy some Axe?
But I notice. You're literally like, oh God, fuck me. Like I notice. So I'm like, I don't understand the thing of like not noticing.
Yeah,
It doesn't make
yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you're really hot,
Yeah.
she was like,
You just get used to it.
and you just get and also maybe like I don't know, women like I don't know smell less bad. Like maybe I could have got away with that back in the day. Certainly not
Yeah.
anymore. But she stunk. So that actually is
It was,
relevant.
oh my God, it was brutal.
She did stink actually.
I go down on her just for a breath of fresh air.
Oh no,
was
absolutely.
better.
That's a natural. That's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That should be the.
that should be this.
the natural
Yeah,
deodorant.
Yeah.
yeah.
just,
Just vagina.
Someone's
Just
pussy like this.
scoop it up and 1000%.
Um,
Yeah.
All right, so that has to stop. Organic deodorant, and finally, our last segment.
You your blessing.
Russell, let's start with you. You got a blessing for us?
Yeah, I didn't talk to her about sharing, but so I'll be vague. But Nicole's been having like a medical thing that's not like a serious. Well, it's serious, but it's not serious. I don't know how to talk about this. I don't know why I'm sharing this. I'm going down a thing. Anyway,
Is she okay?
No,
That's
she's
okay.
great. She's great.
Who's
Nicole's my wife.
His wife.
But she basically for a long time was like, I think something's up, but doctors were like no, but I think something's up, and finally got like had to kind of really advocate for like something's going on here. Nothing serious, but like in a way of like just levels of things, and now it like is feeling better already, and like
good.
Yeah, so it's a thyroid thing. I don't know why I was being so weird about it.
Oh, sure.
But like I also didn't talk to her about sharing this, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm being weird about it.
If you call me and say,
Oh
"Can
my
you
God!
cut that?"
I hope she says that.
I will
have to cut
murder
it.
you.
I know.
I will murder
I know,
you.
and it will sound so much worse. That it's like,
Right.
what?
'Cause
does
I'll
she
keep it in a-
have? Do you know what I mean? Like, what is going
cut it out
on?
just before you say blur it? Like,
Anyways, so she's feeling better already, able to like, but it's been bothering her for a while. Just like, and them being like, I think nothing's going on, and then finally they were like, oh yeah, something's going on. So
Yeah.
anyways.
I guess my blessing will be I was in Los Angeles and I was staying with my mom, and I should have said it when she was in the other room because it's a sweet thing, and especially since I talked a little shit about her at the beginning.
Yeah.
Mom is very sweet when I'm in LA. I had a show at Dynasty Typewriter. Mom got a lot of people to go.
Oh, nice.
A lot of people to
it's
go.
cute. It's cute.
And I guess
A lot of ex-boyfriends.
lot of ex-boyfriends.
all the ex-boyfriends. I was like, why are there so many rich 70-year-olds in the front row? And she even apparently like there was like someone next to her like my mom did not like where every time I talked about her on stage because I talk about her a lot.
Yeah.
This person would be like,
Oh,
talking about
she's
you.
about
And
to
she was
deck
like,
him,
she
yeah.
was like, please leave me alone.
Yeah. If I recall, she really does a good job of like playing it like
Yeah.
Like,
and I told the hostess I always do. I'm like, don't reveal my mom's there because
Yeah.
then people will get weird about these jokes because they're very cruel.
Yes.
And my mom likes the mean.
Oh, that's nice.
that's-
joke.
oh, she sounds like a
nice.
G.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. The one this was a new one where I think I talked about on the podcast where my mom told me she said she's never felt the experience of joy, and I said, oh well, like I was saying, Happy Mother's Day, and she really likes that. But that is from real life. And she takes care of me, food. She's very good about like food and comfort. Like that's where my mom is excellent. She makes me feel comfortable, and she would go with me. I mean, she took me. Some of these LA shows are so bad, and she would drive me fucking an hour to the worst show you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah.
And sit there and not make any kind of comment, not go like, oof, that was a waste. Just very cool.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful for you.
That's
Mama,
really nice.
I love you.
Yes.
Next time you see Tova, say, what a beauty. I love these sweatpants.
I know Tova.
Yes.
Well, because I had a meeting with her one time. Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, hello, know your boyfriend.
Yeah. I was getting a lot of likes on my tweets from you then, and I was like, oh,
Yes.
something's up. Something's up. I'm
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to grease the wheel over here.
Exactly. I was like, you were supposed to actually put in work for me. You didn't. So,
It is funny. I don't have a single lick of power in terms of that.
Oh yeah. She seems very independent.
People do. They will book me on shows. They say, "Hey, tell your girlfriend
No,
to come."
really?
Oh my God.
Yeah. for
Stop.
sure. It's never like a show where I'm like, it's a show I could have gotten on my own.
Okay.
It's never like the coolest.
That makes it worse
show.
somehow. That makes it worse somehow.
it is weirder.
It's weirder.
I think
if
also,
it was like the best,
Yeah,
coolest
also
show
there's
ever.
no way to like. There's no way that comes across in a like. That's very weird.
Yeah.
I'm also just like, you understand, when I leave, she leaves with me. She's not staying to watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will always be sympathetic because I feel like a lot of times the people who ask beyond what they should are not capable of knowing it's inappropriate. So I feel a sympathy. It's a degree of like, you're mentally not fully there, and so I shouldn't be
You're
upset
thinking
about
of all
this.
the times in your life that you've asked an inappropriate thing. You've
When
been like,
I first moved to New York, I met someone who went to my high school who was the theater kid above me.
Yeah.
And she had a voiceover agent at Paradigm. And of
Yeah.
course I asked as a new person, I said, like, how did you get that agent?
yeah,
And so I understand when people ask me, I mean, you get tired of it, but I understand when someone says, like, how do you get in there? And you're like, well,
Yeah.
you're like, just be in it for a little. Be in it for a little.
Be in
It'll
it for a
take
little.
time and you'll figure it out. And I don't know the answer for you.
yeah.
I think also like asking someone like, how did you get into like that? You can do that innocent. Someone from some kid that I didn't really know in high school who's graduating now, reach out like, how did you get into like? Ask me very polite like, I don't know what I'm doing questions. Nice, like, okay, I'm gonna respond. Like, you're clearly
Even if someone
nice
books
guy.
something,
Yeah.
if I have a question for someone and they announce like, hey, I did this thing,
Yeah.
I will. This is really slimy, I guess, or nice, where I say congrats, and I might even put in a reminder in my calendar for 3 months later saying, go ahead and inquire about this. Because I
don't know if
feel
that's
like
slimy as much as it's networking, which feels slimy.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
networking. It's tactful.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
tactful. You just said a thing. This is your moment. Enjoy the thing. Months from now, I'll say, hey, if you wouldn't mind. I think-
Yeah.
yeah.
I think,
Yeah, no,
man,
you got a good brain for it. I'm not.
I don't have. I have bad. I lucked out with my management because my.
Yeah, how did you get with 3 Arts?
Yeah, I think that's a joke. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
no, it was a
Oh,
joke.
yes,
I
okay,
have a
okay, okay.
manager. I'm very
Oh,
happy with.
I didn't know if you. Yeah. I'm with Brillstein. I'm with Brillstein.
Oh, you're with Brillstein.
Yeah. I didn't know if you. I was like, I don't know if
Oh.
this is 3 Arts. Yeah. Because a lot of Twitter people are with 3 Arts, right? Is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
Something.
3 managers. They have all the power, and it's
Yes.
a horrible monopoly that shouldn't
Okay,
exist.
Yes.
okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll bleep this out.
Yeah.
I'm still seeking.
I love
3 Arts.
I love
Just-
my people. It's great. I think my boss at my first like TV thing, I think I wrote a bunch of shit in the pandemic, and some of it was not bad, and I sent it, and she liked it and hired me, and then he just I just got lucky. I don't think that anybody is this is also something this is gonna my biggest issue with this whole like you have to think that you're the best to make it thing is I'm like I actually think that that's a really ridiculous like this is my long-winded way of saying like I got lucky. Everyone gets lucky. I think there are plenty of hilarious people. I think I'm funny. I think lots of people are funny who don't whatever. And it's all kind of a clusterfuck. At the end of the day, you should just kind of be like nice and not an asshole and like write something that's funny and like send it. And yeah, so I feel like I missed a lot of this like really stressed like dude, who are you? You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
One time-
Yes, it's brutal.
he just DM'd me.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and I happened to be like, I'm working here, and then he read my stuff. He was like, I liked it. And like it just happened to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One time I went to a meeting and I got there and it was a Friday and it was Pizza Party Friday that this management company was having and their heads were when I tell you that Pizza Party happening was they were most excited and it was like I walked in the door and then the pizzas got delivered and I could feel this woman looking over my head like while I was talking to her at the pizzas behind it. And it was also someone's going away party. It was like someone was leaving the management company. And it was like, there's been not so many, but a handful of those meetings. And they're always so funny. Cause I'm like, oh God. But I just think of that meeting
so
just
funny.
being like,
I mean,
I want to be like, you don't want me here today. There's
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
why did you schedule this on Pizza Party Friday? And this
Yeah.
person's going away party. Like I was just trying to talk and she was
Oh.
just like looking over. Oh man.
Yeah, I just feel like I can't give good. I said to this kid in my high school, I was like, I don't know. I feel like I can't get. I'm getting a manager. I think that I don't know. Like I don't know what advice to give.
No. There's nothing.
There's
you
nothing
just-
to
you
do.
just,
Like
you know.
just do
do
stuff,
stuff.
and don't be a dick.
Yeah.
But also, I guess I know some dicks with managers,
Yeah.
so I'm like,
Uh,
yeah.
and then do you have a blessing to see us off?
A blessing to see us off. Our Father who art in heaven. I'm kidding. That was like my
If
Catholic.
it's Jesus, you'd be the first.
My Catholic boy upbringing. That was like a willing instinct. So you evoked something deep within me. It was like, like that was all the Sundays in mass. That's the opposite of what I'm grateful for. That's the downside. What I'm grateful for, for all my, I was gonna do something poetic. I was like, well, what has to stop is Twitter discourse, and what I'm grateful for are some of the collaborative partners I've made on Twitter. Yeah, I feel like I've made some fun friends on there, and one of them we're doing a I'm gonna plug him. You know Dan White?
I do.
He's a funny
Chicago.
Yeah. He's a funny.
Hilarious. I've never met him.
He is.
But he wrote me once saying something nice, and he's now my best friend. He's so funny.
He
You've probably
is.
followed
Yeah,
every
I've
tweet.
seen-
So
yeah.
fucking funny. And we started doing these little impromptu ad libs on each other's tweets, like pretending that we were like pen pals. It was just random. And I was like, oh, you're the same kind of weird as me. So we have a project that we're working on together. And I was like, this is cool. And he's cool. That's also because they say on these things to plug a project. I don't have a project. Go follow that guy. He's funny.
Dan White.
Nice.
Dan White, follow him. Follow me, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't care. Fuck
please
you.
do.
Yeah.
So Russell, this is coming out on April 19th. Do you know what the Uncle Function show is yet?
I don't know. It's in May. Well, there's one. No, there's the one the day before, but I'm not gonna plug that one. But well, yeah, it wouldn't make sense because. But anyways, there's one in May.
Jeez, you're poshing this plug. This is the
the
worst plug
second
ever.
Friday in May, whenever that date is, Uncle Function at Asylum NYC.
All right, guys. I need to take these plugs more seriously because I had to cancel a Funny Bone Syracuse show because I did not sell enough tickets. But it was a Thursday and it was in Syracuse, so it's okay. But it's not, guys. So I'm going to take this seriously. April 22nd and 23rd, I'm at Wise Guys Comedy Club in Jordan's Landing, Utah. Hope we got a lot of Utah listeners.
Wow.
April 28th through the 30th, I'm at the Looney Bin in Oklahoma City. And by the way, I know you're listening to this sometimes and you're like, I don't fucking live in Oklahoma City. You know someone there.
Move.
So send it to them.
Yeah.
Or move.
Yeah.
I then will be, we have my monthly show, The Silver Lining, where you get to see me do an hour with 2 stand-up comics in between. That's May 1st. It's the first Sunday of every month. The next 2 are May 1st and May 1st and June 5th. And if we start getting enough people there, especially you downsiders, Debbie downsiders, we are going to start doing a live podcast before it too. So come on out. It's the first. Russell, don't pretend
When
like
is
we
this?
haven't talked. Don't worry about it. We're not there yet. First Sunday
Catch
of
up,
every
honey.
month at Sesh Comedy Club. Tickets are literally $5. It will be in the show notes. So check it out. Join the text list, the mailing list, but just especially come to that Silver Lining because it's going to be the new workout space in New York City.
Oh.
And Dan White, follow you on Twitter. What's your handle?
Kristofer Thomas. It's my name.
Kristofer Thomas.
It's just my name. No spaces, no caps.
But with an F.
Yeah, with an
We
F,
had some
with
emails
an
that I
K.
kept saying F and everyone kept making it PH. And I'm like, guys, I'm
And
not
you're like,
misspelling
that's
it.
transphobic. Quite frankly, well, I just hit him with that.
And then
yeah.
they wrote a long apology tweet. About,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
sorry for changing the F to the PH.
And then you sent me the screenshots, and I'm now blasted. It's a whole thing. Yeah, Kristofer.
And to that barista at Starbucks, I want you to fucking know, I said, can I use the stars? I said, can I use the stars? There's no way I would ever get a chai latte with 4 shots of espresso without
Yeah,
asking for
I
it.
see you.
And there's no way she'll ever end up in a union.
And you know what?
This
There's no way she's ever going to end up happy either because of the lie she told. So
This is the downside.
Wow.
2, 3. Downside.